You remember watching Brian Brown and I forging a big piece of iron down to drawn out ends for a stake anvil he was going to make? Well, he's done it. And in the 20 years that I've been blacksmithing part-time, I've never seen or heard about or read about or looked at in a magazine anything like what this guy's accomplished. You're going to like it. How you been doing, man?
Very good. Good to see you again, Scott.
Holy smokes, Brian. Look at that. Man, it's even better than the pictures, but everything always is, right?
Usually.
Wow. All right, so I got a lot of questions. How many pieces of steel are included in this thing right here?
2 pieces. The top is 1045. It will get flame hardened. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. The bottom is 1008 mild steel.
So the 1045 you said?
Correct.
That's the piece we forged in the shop.
Correct.
Started out as 3.5 inch round. You said this right here is called an anacalactic curve?
Yeah, anaclastic curve.
Anacalastic.
Basically like a Pringle chip. Two curves going opposite directions at 90 degrees from each other.
Okay. And that's critical to an armorer.
It's great for shaping curves of a neck lane, wrist, and lots of other parts. It's very handy.
Okay. All right, so how long had you been visualizing and imagining and designing this before you started in on this 3 weeks ago?
There's about 6 months of thinking about it, drawing drawings. I can't count the number of them that have been sketched out and tossed away just because I don't keep them.
6 months of design, 3 weeks to complete. That's kind of a standard ratio, isn't it?
About, yeah.
But 3 weeks with a full-time job to make this happen. Now, it helps that you're working in a world-class fabrication shop, right?
It
and
does.
You got a group of world-class fabricating friends and acquaintances.
Yes. I wouldn't have been able to weld those together like I did. I welded them together at like 300, 350 amps. So
right here.
Great penetration, 100% weld.
But it's not just the weld, there's a mortise and tenon in there, right?
Correct. The upright has a round tenon. This is drilled and it's shrunk fit together. It's just a minor shrink, but there is a little bit of shrink to it.
Little interference between the hole and the tenon.
Yep.
You heated this up somewhat just with a torch?
Right. With the torch, fit it together. Nice 1/4 inch gap in the middle. And then
around
100%,
here.
Yep, 100% weld to fill it.
Wow. Did you hear that? That's how he is ensuring that this acts as if it's one piece, because it's become one piece.
Correct.
Okay. And you're going to flame harden the face, you said?
Yes.
With a combination of torch
And water.
Torch and a garden hose.
Yep.
You said standing it on its end and starting it at the bottom.
Yep. Heat rises, so lay it over on its side or standing up and start torching at the bottom. And as soon as you get one spot red, go a little higher and start quenching the spot
and
lower.
Keep the water on what's cold so you're not retempering that as you come up.
Correct. By what I've never done it before, but what I've read, you can get Rockwell hardness in the upper 50s on 1045 for this exact type of use.
That's as good as an anvil needs.
Yep.
All right, so you've got square edges, you've got fullering edges, you've got another curve right there, what would be thought of as a bench. You've got a beautiful kind of 2 tapers on the bottom of that horn. That's gorgeous. You got a chamfer over here. I've heard that can be called an heiress, thanks to Ken Jordan.
Oh. Every shape that I thought was handy for making armor, which is what this is designed for, I incorporated in.
Armor specific.
Yes, very much.
All right, so this this declaration, how did you put that beautiful font on there?
Another friend of mine, Leo, and his wife Tina Rincon, they made me custom cut vinyl templates or a sticker that I put on and then acid etched it with ferric chloride.
So the whole thing was one piece of vinyl with the letters cut out?
Correct.
Okay. And you cleaned it really well, I assume?
Cleaned it, polished it. I took it to probably about 1,000 grit polish.
Wow.
Buffed it and then degreased it. Put the stickers on. Built clay up around the edges so the acid didn't drip over the sides.
You didn't want it wrecking this work over here.
Yeah. And then poured acid in that and let it sit for about 5-6 hours.
You built a dam, and so you filled up a little pond.
Yes.
Oh, cool. I wish I could have watched that. You guys are seeing, I hope, the magnitude of this thing. This is on a stake. Lift that up for them so they can see. So it's going to live embedded in a piece of steel or a piece of oak or a piece of concrete for use. This is just for display. Have you had any art training besides just your own desire to be able to make beautiful things?
High school art class.
You had a high school art class. That's not nothing. That's something. But I just love the proportion and the way you brought a scroll to life. Give me a guess on how many pounds of steel you hogged out to create these shapes.
I would guess probably 20 pounds has been removed. Yep, I started with carbon air gouge.
Like in here?
Yep, remove massive amounts of metal quickly. If you're experienced with it, you can sculpt with it pretty much. Then from that to a 5-inch, 4.5-inch angle head grinder.
With the guard removed?
Nope.
Really? You kept the guard on?
Oh yeah.
You rascal. Okay, 4.5, 5-inch angle head.
And then
with hard wheel or lap disc or all of the above?
All the above. Cutting wheels, hard wheels, flap wheels. There's now a radius flap wheel that's great for getting into corners.
Oh, no kidding.
Wraps around the end.
No kidding. So you can get right in here.
Yep.
But that hard line is done with a harder stone. Or so you go from the grinder to
a die grinder.
To a die grinder.
With 1/4-inch bits. Then from that to a Dremel. And then sometimes don't use the Dremel and go straight to a chisel. Sometimes it's Dremel and then chisel, and all of it's finished out with the chisel.
Chisel and hand. Chisel by hammer and hand, all crafts do stand.
Yeah, there's probably 3/8 of an inch of metal right through there that's been removed by just chisel.
Just chiseling it out. And it's mild, it's relatively soft.
Correct.
You would have a harder time on this with a chisel than this.
This, the fact it's not hardened isn't bad, but right in the weld zone, you get carbon migration that is very, very tough.
Tough to manage in the weld and tough to chisel.
Chisels that lasted for 16 hours, one hit and damage to the blade.
Wow.
It got that hard.
Wow, so that's how you're confident you're going to be able to get hardness up here. Because you got hardness right there.
Yep.
Accidentally, so you know you can do it on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Wow. All right, so this is representing a former apprentice who is a friend of yours, who has a key role in the local Society for Creative Anachronism.
That's correct. We play in the Society for Creative Anachronist. They have, like, knights are the top few percent that are known for fighting. Laurels are the one represented by the laurel wreath, are the ones known for craftability. He is getting elevated to that position as a laurel, somebody to look up to that's a great craftsman. And when they do that, they present a scroll. I built this as his award scroll.
You like this guy and are impressed with his capacity?
I am. He is a very good close friend.
Gosh. So let me just throw that out. There is little that's better in life than being able to do something significant for a close friend. Fair?
Very fair.
Well, this is so cool because just the process of the air arcing and gives you a texture that would be intentional.
Yeah,
I mean, it's accidentally intentional.
That's air arc, grinder, and then hammer to vary the texture.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go over to... Oh, look at that. He put the weight on there in hundredweight, stone weight, and pounds. Very authentic.
144 pounds total.
144-pound anvil. It's technically an anvil, but it's actually an art piece. Can we say that? I guess it's equally an art piece and an anvil, huh?
That's the problem with modern day, is they separate.
That's right.
You go back and they were one and the same.
That's right. That utility did not disqualify art.
Correct.
Beautiful fillet across there. All right, we're going to go over to Brian's shop. He says it's too disheveled to film, so we're just going to show you the high spots. Every shop that produces work becomes cluttered. It's sort of indication of intention and seriousness. But I've never seen anything more serious than this. You had several friends involved. So
yes.
So it was important to be able to wrap your arms around machining, around welding, around fabricating, around handwork, and not. It's just kind of a synthesis of all of the metalwork, right?
Pretty much, yeah. There's nothing on it that I probably couldn't have done by myself with the right equipment, but I don't have all the equipment, and I've got friends that can do it far faster with the right equipment. And it was a big job with a limited amount of time.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So I asked him earlier, he thinks there's about maybe 100 man-hours in this, which is staggering in itself. But that sort of is an indication of 21st century and electricity and air arc and everything else. If this was handwork like that anvil you showed me,
that would probably be another 500 hours worth of chiseling.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go over to your shop and show them some other examples of chisel work and the fact that you are a student of medieval martial art and equipment. So this is the shop. This is his version of a cave of wonders. He is, you can't tell it, but we'll get a few shots here to show that he is more organized than I am, and yes, he can find his tools most of the time. But Brian, you are a student of all things medieval, right?
Pretty much.
That's fair enough to say.
Yeah.
The reason I ask him that is because I've gone to him with questions about the swords I make, and he's come out and talked about length and balance and length for height and the difference between a bastard sword and a two-handed sword and a single-handed sword, half sword, whatever the...
That's fighting technique.
Fighting technique. Yeah, boom. And he has the information to back it up. So let me ask you this. How much of what you started learning about the medieval period of time and everything martial, armor, obviously you're obsessed with this, right?
Yeah. Obsessed is an understatement.
Yeah. Eat, breathe, sleep, yeah. How much of it has been spun up into legend and myth and fable, and how much of what we know is a fairly accurate understanding?
There's a lot of both, and these days it's where you look what you'll find.
Okay.
Like armor was heavy. That's a Victorian myth because they wanted to be superior to their predecessors. Now there's lots of documents out there and information. Most suits of armor were 35 to 55 pounds.
Really?
Head to toe.
Wow. Okay. Talk about puncturing a myth.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many books have you got in your library on this topic?
Just on armor, probably about 100 and another 40 gigs worth of scanned photos and books.
And it's not that he has the books, it's that he has absorbed them. Now, I'm not going to claim you've read every word, all right?
No, I look mostly at the pictures.
And thus it manifests in the work. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Who is an information source somebody could go to and trust?
Well, for armor, there's the armorarchive.org is a great forum. It's got some of the top guys in the world. One guy I really appreciate is Rob McPherson. He is world class, and he is a disseminator of information and a teacher as much as he is an armor.
Okay. But he is an armorer.
World class.
Okay. Lampooning the idea that those that can do and those that can't teach, right? He's both of these things.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, Brian, I, for one, am staggered. I've been staggered before at some of this stuff, like articulating gauntlets and that beautiful blue color you got on that piece, using the tempering colors for beauty alone. Not alone, but both,
Yeah.
right? All right, so what else should a young man think about that's thinking of putting his toe into this water? What should he be thinking of?
Don't expect to make a living at it.
Boom! Hear that? Make it a passion, right?
Make it a passion. Do it for the fun. Do it for the love. And every piece, challenge yourself. Try something new. Push the limits. Don't take the easy way.
Gosh.
You learn so much faster that way. There are no mistakes if you learn from it.
Okay, so that is maybe one of the most worthwhile things that a young guy like you, or even an old guy like me, could soak up at a moment like this. Brian, thank you so much. You have inspired me. You've instructed me. You've helped me, and I'm just so pleased to have had a tiny part of this project.
I appreciate the help.
Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.